Hello YouTube, this is Tom Crandall from Gear Mashers, and today we're talking bike tools, specifically one by Silca, and it's called the T-Ratchet and Ti-Tool, sort of a long name for a tool, but it's actually multiple tools in here. And the other cool aspect of it is beyond just the tool is the actual pouch that they provide that surrounds the tool. So the pouch has magnetic buttons on the front or snaps, and it's perfect if you wanted to put it in, say, a bike jersey, or maybe if you had a larger bag, you could put it in there, or if you just wanted to keep it around the house. It's actually a really nice looking bag, and it's very European looking. It looks like it was made in Italy or something. But when you open up the bag, or actually let's do a weight here. So the weight of the bag, it weighs 226 grams. So it's not necessarily light, but it's not too heavy. They also have a smooth surface here, so if you were to put it, say, in a jersey pocket, it's not going to be rubbing up against your back, which is really nice. So opening up the pouch or bag, you have 3 separate tubes, and then you have a bunch of bits. Most of them are hex bits that you would use. So the red tube here, this is for the torque part of it, so I'll go over that in a little bit. And then it has an extension, and then it has the T handle. So the way this works is they've used magnets throughout this tool, and so any end that's open, you can actually insert something in there and it will be magnetic, so it'll have a nice little lock, magnetic lock. And so with the extension tube here, you just put it in, and now you have your ratchet handle, and it just is just like a normal ratchet tool, but it's a small little ratchet, which is really nice, and it just works really well. Also the ergonomics of the tool itself, it just seems like they did a really good job. It's like nice and smooth from the center point here, so if you wanted to have your thumb on it or something like that, looks really nice. And they just have a little lever here that you flip either one way or the other, depending on if you're screwing or unscrewing something in. And the other neat thing is the T handle, when you take it off, you can add it as a further extension to the tool. And so let me just grab, say, like an H5 here. The other cool thing that they've done is with the bits, they've added a little rubber ring, so it'll let you know which bit you've chosen. So I have an H5, and so this is my setup. Say if I wanted to work on, I don't know, adding a water bottle cage to a bike, or maybe removing a water bottle cage, because I have enough depth in here and it won't get in the way of the cage. I have some of these other tools, like this is by Feedback Sports. This is a park tool, these little hex tools. And the problem with these is, especially if you're working with water bottle cages, the tool actually hits the cage, so it gets in the way. But with the hex, or with the ratcheting tool, I don't really need to move the tool that much, and I can get away with loosening or tightening the bolt there. And so I have a lot less room, or gives me a lot more room to work with versus one of these where I'm having to turn it around. Sometimes I'll use a screwdriver, but again, you just can't get the torque that maybe be necessary with the screwdriver where you could with something with an actual handle on here. Now, the other thing that they've included is the torque part. So this is a torque tube, and near the bottom of the tube here, they have little markings to let you know how many Newton meters you're actually torquing a screw. And so that's important when you're working on these high-end bikes. You don't want to over torque a screw, because that could either strip the screw, or it could ruin some part of maybe a carbon component or something like that you're working on. And so that's a really nice factor. And so with this, all you're doing as you're screwing it in, there's a little spring in here that allows you to see how many Newton meters you're actually torquing it. I've never really used a torque wrench when I've been working on bikes, but I've never, I don't know, I've never really had an issue. I guess maybe I've over torqued some seat posts, which is probably pretty common. And I have had some issues with seat posts in the past, but in general, I usually just tighten until I feel a little bit, and then maybe tighten a little bit more. But with this torque wrench, now you have an accurate measure of how many Newton meters you're put on there. And so all you have to do is look at the specs from the manufacturer, and they should be able to tell you how many Newton meters you're supposed to tighten something. All in all, I thought this tool was really, or is really cool. The craftsmanship on it is excellent. They've done a fantastic job. If you just wanted to buy the T-handle, and they have a little bit smaller case with the ratcheting, I think that runs about $50. And then also, if you wanted to buy just the torque part, that's going to cost you $50. So combined, it was around $100 for this. Or if you wanted to buy them separate, $50. But I think having both together is actually sort of nice. And it does give you options as far as how you're going to use this. On the negative, really, I didn't see many negatives on here. The only negative I thought maybe is with the torque part, there's probably two things. It was a little hard to see. There's a little arrow that points up, and it's when you're working with the tool, it's sort of hard to see the actual arrow because it's silver on silver. And the numbers are sort of small, again, a little hard to see. And then the other thing that I noticed is when I put this torque part into the T-handle itself, while it is magnetic, it comes out pretty easily. I would like to see maybe a bigger magnet on the end of this torque handle, and so it would stick in there a little bit harder. But other than that, I think Silca did just like a crazy good job. It's really nice looking. If a tool could be sexy, this tool is super sexy. And yeah, I think they did a great job. So definitely hit the subscribe button because that does help us get in products like these. And also check out gearmasters.com. I do have a write-up on this tool with a lot of pictures and stuff like that. So check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.